All right, if you've got a hot water heater that is constantly draining, or you weren't having any issues with it prior to having to shut it off, I had a toilet repair that I had to do, but my outside shutoff valve next to the house wouldn't shut off completely, and my inside valve wouldn't shut off completely, so I had to shut it off at the road. If you're having issues where when you turn your water back on and your overflow pop-off valve, your temperature pop-off valve, TNP valve, if you can see it, it says it here, TNP, and sometimes it'll be located on the top of the unit as well, I believe, from some that I might have seen before. But in this situation, when I turned my water back on, I think the corrosion inside of my pop-off valve might have got to the valve, because whenever I opened up my sink lines and all that before turning the main meter on, it pushed air into the lines. So the valve popped off, but it wouldn't close back all the way. So I thought everything was fine, and come to find out later on, I went by the house on the outside and I noticed that I had a bunch of water everywhere. Well, that line was connected to here, and I just shoved it back through the floor, but it goes all the way up to the top. I had to cut it off so I can actually undo my my nozzle and or my TMP valve. So the valve wouldn't shut off all the way. We're gonna go ahead and drain it now. And I took an old hose for a washer and cut it, and shoved it into the pipe so it can drain. But I have all my main lines open in the house for my sinks on the hot water side, so that way the air can drain better. So what we'll do is we'll pull up on this valve here, and that'll let that water flow. So right now it's draining through the drain, and I'll have to get a new connector and stuff and reconnect that pipe. But you can tell it's draining now. I'm not exactly sure how much I need to drain, but I need to drain enough to where no water comes out of that whenever I go to take it off. And just a little reminder, sometimes it's okay to flush it, because some of that sediment, that hard water and all that rust that's inside of your hot water heater, sometimes it does need to be flushed in order to keep it operating right. And you know, sometimes with that pop off, some trash can get caught up in there keeping it from closing all the way, so you're gonna have to change it. And when you're changing, you need to be very careful, because you might put yourself in a bind. And it's just one of them things that happens. So you get your big old crescent wrench, you put it on there, and you'll turn it. And you'll turn it to the left, counterclockwise. So counterclockwise is this way, if you didn't know, because you got clockwise is that way. So counterclockwise would be left. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and drain it, get it fully drained. You know, take this one off, and you need to bring this with you to the auto parts store, because there's 3 different sizes. You know, there's a couple different sizes actually, and you need to find the right one that has the right length going into the matching one, because you don't want to just go up there and think you're going to get the right one. You're going to have to make several trips if you do that. You'll end up having to buy it and bring it back, and this will help you avoid some time on that. So we'll take it off, and we'll run up to the parts house and find the matching one, come back, put it back in, and go ahead and make it look good. All right, so I went ahead and broke it loose. This one did me pretty good. It wasn't too bad. This is pretty much drained enough that I can get that out and together, make my run, and come back. All right, we got it loose enough. We should be able to take it out by hand now. All right, so you see here, they need to know how long it goes in there and how far. Some of them are different. So we'll take this up there with us, and we'll try to get the matching one. And see, this is that corrosion I'm talking about. You see how that's got it all gummed up in there? That'll prevent it from wanting to close off all the way. And you can tell it's in there too. So we'll get that cleaned up real nice before putting the new one in. Oh, and if you have a skinny wire brush, which in this case I don't right now, you can knock some of that rust out of there pretty good. Be like a little small wire brush with a you know, like a wire stem on it, and you'll have a little brush on the end. And sometimes it's nice to be able to get in there and kind of clean it up the best possible before putting it all back together, because you don't want none of that stuff to clog up your new one. Alright, so right here I got something called True Blue. It's pipe thread sealant. Sometimes this works a whole lot better than Teflon tape. So I'm pretty sure you can put Teflon and then coat it over with this too as well. But you should be able to just use this directly on the threads and go ahead and thread it in. Coat all the way around. Okay, so as of right now, I have the hot water side open on my faucet in there in my bathroom. And what I'm doing is I'm flushing the water. So I've got the pop-off valve closed. I already let all the air out, but the air should come out of there as well. And I'm not going to be able to fully let all the air out until I put my drain line back on to make sure it drains through the floor. Because if you can't tell, I've already got a little bit of water in here because it fully started coming out of it. But what I'm doing is I'm just draining all that stuff out of there. I'm trying to get as much rust as possible or any settlement in the bottom of the tank. What you can do is you can shut it off a little bit, let it fill up, keep letting some of that air out of there. The air is at the top. This is the best way I know how to do it, is to get as much settlement out of there as possible since you're already having to do this. Right, so we've got it all finished up and wrapped up. Got the new valve in, and I went ahead and put me a new 3/4 inch piece of PVC coming down. Everything seems to be operating good. I've got a good flush on it, and I went ahead and left my hose on there in case I ever need to flush it again. Good to go now. So thank y'all for watching. I hope that this helps somebody that has some issues with their water heater.